Hello my delectable little nutter butters, just wanted to say thank you for the support on my Killing Moog video and for all the helpful comments on video editing. I'm still pretty new to this, like I said, so any advice kind or critical would be appreciated. But with that said, let's get on to the video. Please subscribe. What do we all have in common? Is it that we all love Keanu Reeves? Maybe it's that we've all ran to bed after turning off the lights so the toe-sniffing goblin can't get a whiff of those dirty little grippers. No. It's that we're all descendants of a long ago dead primitive form of human. The Australopithecus, you know what?
Australopithecus africanus.
Cavemen. I'm talking about cavemen. Which led me to think what any rational person would. Could a caveman beat Elden Ring? For the rules, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm only allowed to use anything a caveman would to hunt pre-Bronze Age. So no metal weapons, but since spears are pretty shit anyway, I'm not using them. Also, they're all made out of metal, so I couldn't anyway. So I'm just gonna use cartoonish bonk sticks. I'm also allowing any talismans that I might want, but without further ado, let's just get on with it. My starter class will be the Wretch, because you start off with a club right off the bat. I also modeled my character Ooga Booga II, son of Ooga Booga I, this dude. Then I began my journey by offering some friendship to the grafted scion, to which he swiftly declined, but that's fine. Ooga Booga doesn't like those filthy grafters anyway. So I moved on and opened the doors to Limgrave and bought a torch from Santa Claus and his pet dog. Why Santa is in the lands between, I don't know. But what I do know is that this was the most useless purchase I make in the entire run. Turns out, the torch isn't really that good as a weapon. That being said, comment down below if you want to see a torch-only video. I then collected Torrent by talking to a pink-haired emo that just won't stop yapping. Using Torrent, I travelled to the Church of Marika, and although I did in fact collect the physic, I didn't use it for the entire run. Not once. I mostly came here to get the Sacred Tear anyway, and also to get the Sight of Grace since I would need to come back to this area later on to collect some items. I also came here to get to Caelid for some easy levels, and although I didn't think of it at the time, I won't be able to kill Grail since all I can use is a club and a useless twig that I regret buying. But anyway, after stealing half the Dectus medallion from Fort Fareth, which is what I imagine Asmongold's room looking like since it's run down, covered in blood, and is infested with rats, and because I can't kill a stupid sick dragon without wasting probably hours of my time, I have to trick a rock into falling off of a goddamn mountain to get runes. But after I gained enough runes to get to level 21, I then went to the Limgrave tunnels to steal some smithing stones, which only got me enough to get my club to level 2. Big waste of time there. But with a level 2 weapon, it did give me enough confidence to start killing some bosses. So I headed up to Stormveil Castle, and after getting past all the guards and watching Margit's cutscene, I then started clobbering Margit with my club, which had a surprisingly fast light attack. Now I'm not saying this early game build is good, since all I have is the club and Radagon Saw Seal, but for a person who mainly plays with dexterity builds, I thought with only 30 minutes in setup time, this strength build was quite adequate for killing Margit. Like I said, I'm not used to strength builds, but I did break his poise like 5 times in the fight, which is pretty good for a level 21 caveman with a level 2 club. But after a second poise break, I started feeling bad for absolutely destroying this guy. I was just manhandling him and occasionally trading blows with him. After killing Margit with one final slap to the ass, I had a little stroll through the castle until I came across and abused the shit out of Godric. He didn't stand a shred of a chance. He just got hit after hit after hit after poise break after poise break. And I can't really feel bad about it because yet again, he's one of them filthy grafters. After leaving Stormveil and entering the Lake of Liurnia, I went to kill Crystallion to get my club to level 6. I then decided to go to Mogwin's palace so I could level up Var quicker and make sure to do Vare's quest in the weirdest order possible. So I killed the grafted scion first, mostly because he rejected my friendship. Then I had some fun jumping off a cliff 2 times and getting stabbed by a third person. And after getting Vare's blood-soaked rag to him, he was so touched he proposed to me on the spot. What a romantic sweetheart. I then pissed off a giant chicken so much it kept aggressively committing forever sleep and giving me enough runes to get to level 45, which is just about enough to kill Rennala. So I decided to roam the halls of Hogwarts till I came across what would be a good boy, but he killed me and I didn't like that. So I put him down. But you know what I didn't like? This guy. Because he can just parry like all of my attacks and then one-shot me. For fuck's sake! How does... See, what's that? Because why wouldn't he be able to do that? He killed me like 10 times in a row. It made me think, am I the problem? Maybe I'm just a filthy noob that doesn't know what he's doing. Nah, that can't be it. It must be my tiny weapon. Like, look at that thing. I clearly need to compensate for something. So I went to get an upgrade to the large club. And this thing was much needed upgrade. It was doing about the same amount of damage as the regular club, unupgraded. So I upgraded it and easily was able to kill him first attempt. I would also like to point out that this guy killed me more than all but 2 enemies in the game. More on those guys later. But as for now, I took a little trip to Dumbledore's house, but he didn't want to talk, so I did what you should do to any elderly person that doesn't comply, which is to beat them with a giant stick until they do comply. But after I killed Dumbledore, I finally permitted myself to go to the capital, which made me remember I don't have the other side of the Dectus medallion, making me track all the way back to Limgrave and get it. But whilst I was there, I also got the Axe Talisman, which increases the damage of charged attacks by 10%. And I also got the Lion's Claw Ash of War, but I promise I won't spam it, because if I did spam it, everything would just be way too easy. And I know that would just bore you. So I'm limiting myself to 5 swings every fight. I then went to kill Margaret again, and equipped the Viridian Medallion, which will help quite a lot since I run out of stamina every 3 seconds because I pool all of my points into strength. I also collected the Turtle Talisman to help with stamina recovery, and after equipping all of that, I took down the Draconic Tree Sentinel first try and went on to kill Margot second try. Ooga Booga was becoming quite unstoppable, so I got the 3rd Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing, and that allowed me to make light work of Radahn. And can I just say, the poise damage on this thing is immense, especially with the heavy modifier. It's pretty crazy. Not the best in the game, clearly, but it can knock down most bosses within 2 fully charged heavy attacks, with the only exceptions that I can think of on the spot being the Fire Giant, Radahn, and Elden Beast. But those guys are literally designed to never be poise broken. And even then, this beautiful, magnificent chunk of timber can make that possible. If you just spam heavy attacks on Radahn, his poise just gets thrown out the window. So, after killing Radahn, I went straight to killing Fire Giant, which after breaking his ankles was pretty easy to defeat since all he does is roll around and slam the floor and occasionally throw spells at you. But all you do whenever he rolls away is just summon Torrent and go straight back up to his ankles. And once I decided to tell all the hippies in the lands between to go fuck themselves by burning down a giant tree just cause I could, that made me really sleepy, so I took a nap. And when I woke up, I was in the crumbling Azula, which after making my way past the annoying enemies and pretty bland colour scheme, I arrived at what is probably the biggest challenge I have had in any Souls-like, nay, any game I have played in my life. These 2 little shits would not give me a goddamn break. I spent 3.5 hours on them. That is more than 1/3 of my entire playtime on this character. But Goji, I hear you ask, why didn't you just throw a sleeping pot at them? I don't know. Do cavemen have sleeping pots? No, they don't. So I fought these guys for hours just to realize my own stupidity. What level am I even supposed to be for these guys? I was underleveled. I was level 82. If you Google it, it suggests that you should be at least level 110 as a bare minimum. And if you're gonna ask, Goji, don't you have at least 500 hours on this game? Why didn't you know what level you were supposed to be? Well, to be honest, I never fought these guys fairly. I always make them take a little nap by aggressively throwing drugs at them like a couple of heroin addicts. I mean, they look like heroin addicts, so you might as well give them what they want. But here's a small montage of just a few of my deaths. Of course he does. Oh, of course he does. Of course he does. 'Cause he literally went through your fat body. Look, brother. Like, after all of that, I was so done of fighting these guys, I abandoned my rule of only using Lion's Claw 5 times a fight, and I switched to using it 5 times an enemy. And after a combined total of about 3 hours of fighting Gorlock the Destroyer and the Minecraft skeleton, I was finally able to send them to the Shadow Realm, with one last bonk from my club. And after the feeling of pure joy and relief faded, I was left questioning myself. How am I supposed to live with myself, knowing I just spent 3 hours on a boss I have defeated at least 15 times? Well, the answer is to slaughter everything in my path until I calm down. So I went to Malekith and firmly slapped him across the face with my club, making him cease to exist. Which leads me into the last 2 bosses in the game. Well, technically 3, but... yeah, I don't know exactly what he was planning on doing. Like, he knows that like 5 minutes ago, I killed death itself, right? Like, what did he think he was gonna do? Now that I've beaten Gideon so bad it could be considered a hate crime against mages, I went on to Godfrey, and this fight was so difficult. I killed him 3rd try. Yeah, after what happened with the Godskin Duo, which I am now dubbing the Godskin Incident of 2025, Godfrey was like a toddler throwing a temper tantrum. I think the reason I died was because I wasn't used to fighting one fast enemy instead of 2 semi-fast enemies at the same time. But now I was on my A game, and onto the final hurdle. For my first attempt, I don't know if Ooga Booga had been secretly training with Goku behind my back, but I instant transmissioned right up to Elden Beast, which ended up actually doing the opposite of helping. That doesn't matter, I died anyway. But for the second attempt, the fight began with me landing some heavy blows against Radagon, which basically weakened his poise right off the bat, eventually leading me to breaking his poise and spanking his ass, till he has a hissy fit and decides to stomp his foot like he's trying to unstick his balls from the side of his leg, following up that attack with a crash attack that Ooga Booga skillfully dodges, and then follows up with a strike to the head. But Radagon retorted by unsuccessfully trying to put an end to Ooga Booga, probably because he's jealous of the size of Ooga Booga's club, since his is so small. And after trading hits and dodging a grab, I was able to poise break him with one more attack and defeat him with one mighty final bonk to the cranium. After I gave him a concussion, he sent out his limited edition Galaxy Slug, and the fight against Elden Beast was easy since all this dude does is either attack you with a really easy to dodge melee attacks or spam key blasts like you're in a Dragon Ball game. But all you need to do for those pathetic excuses for spells is run away most of the time. You can literally just run and jump out the way of his attacks, which comes in handy since you can run towards him because he likes running away from you so goddamn much. But after dodging a few mediocre attempts at killing me right at the end, I managed to land a 2-hit combo on this dude just before he landed a hit that probably would have killed me. And Ooga Booga has done it. He has finally defeated the Elden Beast. The Elden Beast was just killed by a caveman, which means if you're still watching this video and you haven't beaten Elden Ring, this is your moment to think to yourself, a caveman really beat me to defeating a video game, and all I had to do was to mend the Elden Ring, which after all this time, Ooga Booga didn't actually know how to do since he's a caveman. So he tried to apologize by putting Marika's head back on her body, and ended up becoming Elden Lord in the process. What a journey we have gone on. If you made it to the end of this video, I'd like to give you another star on the forehead. There you go. Also, I suggest you bonk that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, or else I will kill Ooga Booga, and that's on you. Man, I'd do it. I'm serious. Also, I'd like to say thank you for the support on my previous video. I'm shocked that we tripled our subscriber count from that video alone, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, so I guess it's really you that I gotta thank. I'm gonna go now, since I'm severely sleep deprived. I'll try and keep up this upload schedule for as long as I can, but thanks for watching.